Evelyn to Philip, V-mail dated March 30th, 1944. My sweet, your V-mail of 22nd of March, along with a letter from Jack N. and a check from S&D Sharp and Dome, arrived this morning. I didn't get them till later in the afternoon because I worked 4 hours for Miss Hahn this morning. I had planned to go to Claire Pruitt this week, but it rained so often I couldn't. I hope to make it this weekend or sometime next week. You sure are patient, and it is sweet of you. Jack's letter was for both you and me, written by someone else. He mentions that his right hand is sort of out of commission, just bothersome, he said. I guess he either sprained or broke it, huh? He has a new address, Private JN 32,983,798, Engineer Board, Pando, Colorado. I would send the letter along, but there is nothing of real interest except what I've mentioned. The letter from Sharp and Dome was your March insurance, $3.45. I'm going to bank it. Guess that cleans up the mail situation. I forgot to tell you that while I was at the Chases the other day, I noticed a book, a bestseller at the moment, So Little Time by John P. Marquand. Mickey had borrowed it from the Litt Brothers library, and since it is paid for till next week and she had finished reading it, she gladly gave it to me. I hope to read it this weekend. I finished Mom's sweater at long last. I was going to make Adele a vest, as I think I told you, but I think she needs a sweater more. I'm going to make a smocked yoke, got it right, and waist, most likely pink trimmed with blue. I also have to make Stuart Chase's sweater, as per my promise. I blocked Mom's sweater a little too much, and it is large, but it can be reblocked. I have to buy ribbon, have the buttonholes made, and buy buttons before it can be worn. I don't care as long as it is finished. I'd like to send off another package next week, but I have no request. I had to send one of the last packages on one of Eddie's requests. You didn't know what to use to fill up space on your 22nd March V-mail? How about a request? Do you or don't you want candy? Well, we played hide and seek with Adele this evening and had a barrel of fun. First we would hide and she would seek, and then vice versa. She says and waves bye-bye. When I pick her up, she says down. She always wants to go down. What a kid. I've been terribly Columbus-minded since the 28th. I didn't write or mention it in yesterday's letter, but I keep remembering constantly. I used to think 600 miles was far away. Little did I know. I pressed till 10:30 last night and hit the hay. Both Adele and I overslept. Imagine, this morning, and didn't get downstairs till 7:45. Mr. Fromer's son took me along, thereby getting me to Miss Hahn's early. I have no specified time. Whenever I get there is good enough for her. Her business has fallen off terrifically, and she has no further need for me. I ordered some stationery for Goldie and will go there once more to pick it up. I've only got room for a short I love you, my dearest, and a long kiss. Your Ev. Philip to Evelyn, March 30th, 1944. Dearest Ev, I'm writing this early because I'm going to be busy tonight preparing to go on pass tomorrow. It will be my first pass in 6 weeks, and I'm just itching to get to London again. I had hoped that Ed or Richie or Jack Gutkin would get in touch with me to arrange for a meeting, but since they haven't, I'm taking off anyway. The afternoon mail just came in, and just as I expected, there were no letters for me. There was a consolation prize, though, in the form of your package containing candy, chiclets, cookies, underwear, and a hanky. Thanks a million, baby. Nothing startling happened today, so I'll continue answering your most recent batch of letters. It was good of you, Chippy, to take so lenient a view of my failure to send you any money during March. But although I haven't yet learned to, quote, manage my funds to the nth degree on my own, end quote, I'm learning to make the best possible use of it. The allotment for a war bond I instituted this month. Your conviction that I'll make T4 is most flattering, but entirely without foundation, I assure you, Chippy. The questions you ask in regard to this are so naive as to be downright amusing. As for my being complacent about it, I can further assure you that no effort on my part in any direction, especially those you suggest, would have the slightest bearing on the fact that the rating both of us would like me to have just isn't available. Your impression that my job is authorized T4 stems from the fact that when I was working in the station ordnance office, such was the case, but since I was transferred into the orderly room, all that is changed. Lest you gain another misconception, Chippy, I hasten to assure you that even had I continued in the SOO, I wouldn't have stood a chance for the rating, which was sergeant, by the way, and not T4, simply because the rating was already given to another man in another section of the company before I even joined it. In short, no soap, and I'll thank you, sweet, to disillusion yourself on this score and to forget the whole thing. I know it disappoints you that my job is considered so unimportant in the company that the ultimate page 2 rank I may attain is the T5 I now hold. But that's the way it is, and there's nothing I can do about it. Please don't embarrass me by mentioning the subject again. It isn't pleasant for me to feel that I have failed to come up to your standards or expectations. The rest of your letter of March 2nd requires no comment. The next letter was written over a period of 3 days, but since it was a full 7 pages long, I won't bawl you out for holding out on me. On the 4th, you wrote a page of local news. No comment. On the 5th, you wrote 2.5 pages more, typed. You started to write very late because you had gone to the Lindley with Anne to see Betty Davis, an old acquaintance. You're wrong, Chippy. I never said I saw this one. I never even heard of it. No, sweet, I wouldn't exactly call you a sentimental old fool. You are neither, in my estimation, old nor a fool. And if you weren't sentimental, I wouldn't have you. I trust Adele's lip wasn't cut badly enough to leave a scar. Your very complimentary closing is even more teasing and provocative than usual. For you, baby, I'll move over any time. March 6th was my birthday, and you wasted no time asking me how does it feel to be 29. I believe I answered that for you some weeks ago, so I won't repeat myself. Yes, I read about the quads, and although it was a pretty sordid story, I've heard a lot worse. Thanks for keeping me hep to the pumpkin's ever-growing vocabulary. Any day now, I'll be writing to her too. At this point in the letter, you switched to pen and ink, probably continued it upstairs in our room, right? You say Adele keeps you up much of the night, and that it's a good thing I'm not there, 'cause I'd certainly lose a lot of sleep. Lady, if I were there, I wouldn't want to sleep. It would be little less than sacrilege if I closed my eyes with 2 lovely girls so close at hand. Is it really true that you conceived on my birthday 2 years ago? I was Never aware of it. The date, I mean. The night itself is very clear in my mind. Yeah, man. That leaves just yours of March 7th to be answered. I hope to do so in my next, which will be a London letter. So long for now, my darling. Keep well and happy, and don't forget to remember me to the pumpkin. I am, as ever, your Phil. P.S. Love to all. P.S. Please send the chocolates.